Good evening, distinguished Wizards fans. I'm Sully,
I'm Raj.
and this is the Bullets to Wizards podcast.
How's it going, everyone? We took a little break after All-Star Weekend because college got a little bit hectic at times, and we just never got the time to actually record a full episode. But today, we're going to do a little recap of the week that we missed, starting with Gafford's revenge game. Then we move on to that little Kuzma rumor during the little trade deadline thing. And then the Deddy Avdija career high versus the Pelicans, and our just overall thoughts on All-Star Weekend, how our rookie Bilal Coulibaly did.
Yeah, we could have used the excuse of, oh yeah, the NBA took a break this weekend, and so we also decided to take a break, but that's not true. We just, this whole last week has been hectic, non-basketball related, but we're back, and yeah, this is going to be a fun episode. I have a lot of thoughts on All-Star Weekend, both on Bilal, and we're also on, in general, like the dunk contest, three-point contest, Steph versus Sabrina. I got some things to talk about that as well, and I'm sure you do too, so yeah, let's get into it. So since our last episode, the Wizards did play against the Mavericks and the Pelicans. The Mavericks game was relevant as it's the first time, quick turnaround, a few days after trading Daniel Gafford, we once again got to see our old pal, our old buddy. And yeah, what are some takeaways you had from that game?
Well, Daniel Gafford dominated us. He had a double-double with he had okay, I don't have his stats up, but I remember he had a double-double in that game, which means
He had 16 points and 17 rebounds in
16 points and 17
in 24
rebounds.
minutes.
So he did get the definition of revenge game on us, which was exciting to see. I mean, I wasn't mad at all. I'm happy Gaff is balling out with Luka and Kyrie and the rest. So, I mean, he dominated us, but it's pretty fun to watch.
The Wizards made it a competitive-ish game. The usual like 3 quarters of competitive, but then the fourth quarter. We were up 10 and heading into the fourth, and then the fourth quarter collapsed, and I was like,
We were guarding Luka. We guarded Luka perfectly, and then Kispert hit him in the chin, and then he started bleeding, and I thought he was out for the rest of the game.
It's true.
But he came back, and then he started hitting step-back threes on us and contested fadeaways, and then we lost the game.
Luka is funny in that when he scored 26, which I think if any Wizard did that, we'd be like, hooray. But like for Luka, that's a down game. Dude averages 34. He still had a triple-double. He found other ways to be useful.
He dropped a triple-double on us.
I don't really know if it was Denny's defense. I don't really think it was Denny's defense on Luka. I think it was more just Luka.
It's just Luka. It's just Luka.
He was just off that night.
No one can guard him.
Yeah, no one can guard him. He heated up toward the end of the game, but even at the beginning of the game when he was colder, I don't think Denny's defense was really affecting him. I think it was just his step backs weren't hitting like they usually did, and he's gonna have nights like that. But yeah, I don't know. We've been competitive against the Mavs in recent years for some reason, so I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a sneaky win against a good team, feel good win against Gafford. But no, we lost, and Gafford even really played in the fourth too. Gafford's been putting up all these double doubles, and Jason Kidd barely plays him a little over 20 minutes. And it's cool to see he got the starting job with Derek Lively injured with his broken nose, but Gafford just fits so well in the Mavs system. He barely plays 20 minutes per game right now for them. He grabs double doubles. He feels like a way more intimidating shot blocker than he was in DC somehow. I don't know if it's the defensive scheme that Jason Kidd has running, but he's been blocking. He just feels way more effective against centers. And also just even on offense, like Luka knows how to set people up. Luka knows how to find him.
Yeah, he's a master at that.
And then also, a big thing that this trade has made, I know it's only been a week, Gafford could definitely cool off quickly, but it's made me wonder, are we that bad at developing players and running a system? Because Gafford leaves, immediately flourishes. They know how to utilize him better. And do you see Gafford even made those comments regarding? He's like, I feel like I'm at home here. I feel
already.
God. He's like, I feel comfortable. I love the system here. It's like, damn. Was he liked DC, but as far as just team offense and defensive rotations and systems, is it that dysfunctional?
I don't know, man. But we didn't talk about Richaun Holmes. Richaun Holmes got his first minutes off the bench with 12 minutes. He scored 10 points, 2 rebounds. He got a block, shot at 71% from the field. So I think that was the only time he played, right? He didn't play versus the Pelicans. Did he? I don't
He,
remember.
no, he played against the Pels. It was the Sixers game they held him out of, I think. But he played it.
Oh yeah.
He did play against the Pels. Honestly, for both games, he played fairly well. He very much is a older budget gaffer. Everything I knew about Holmes
I
before the
mean, he
trade.
has a pretty Gafford play style from what I've seen so far. He's just not as like
He's a budget gafford.
he's not as like he doesn't
Say it with me.
attack the rim as
Say
much as
it.
Gafford does.
Say it with me. Budget gafford.
Budget Gafford, yeah, pretty much. I mean, from I had really low expectations for him. From for some reason, I mean, I didn't know Rashawn Holmes that much, but watching his little debut as a Wizard, I'm like, okay, half decent return, I guess. We also got a first round pick from that, so
Rashawn, I don't is in the grand scheme of things irrelevant in the return for Gafford. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it keeps us from instead of getting blown out by 50, we lose by 8. Okay, because having a backup center is relevant on this roster, and it is weird how we got one of the few players in the NBA, especially in the modern NBA, where every big man shoots threes. We got the only like one of the few other big men that plays exactly like Gafford, and Rashawn can get up. I've seen Rashawn as hops. I'm sure at 30 he's not the same as like his heyday at the Kings, but he still has he has kind of he has hops like sneaky hops like Gafford. He can sometimes block shots. Yeah, I don't think he
sometimes.
I don't think he
But
played
he's
that
just
well.
budget Gafford.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think he guarded Gafford that well this game or in that Mavs game. But for a backup center, I'm not disappointed. It's for a rebuild taking team. It is what it is. I think he's under contract till next year too. So get ready for another year of Rashawn Holmes. Unless we'll try to move him next year. Once again, I don't know what we'll get for him, but sure. But yeah, main return for backup center, nothing to complain about with Holmes. And yeah, first round pick is the main thing to gather from that trade. But yeah, I would say overall, that Mavs game was one of I think my favorite games to watch this season. Yeah, it's kind of hard to pick with how like bad this team has been this year, but I felt entertained for 3.5 quarters. How about you?
Yeah, no, it was like I'm like this whole time I was asking Sully, "Oh man, we might actually win this game." Almost like every time out, I texted him. I'm like, Sully, we might win this game for once." Until Luca came back in, and I'm like, you know what? We're screwed. But that 3 quarters that I watched, it was the most entertaining Wizards basketball
See,
I've seen this season. I
what
would
was good
say.
about what was good about those 3 quarters? The team played hard. I mean, Keith was the micro was picking up on it. Keith was yelling at them, and they seemed to respond, which I can appreciate. Brian Keith, they respond to his passion, and you could
Yeah,
tell
no.
it.
Ever since Keith became interim head coach, I would say there's been a lot more effort out there, and even against competitive teams, we've only lost by like single digits, or maybe by like 12 to 15 points. Or either with West Unseld, we lost with like over 20, or we lost games where we had like a 20-point lead or a 10-point lead. So having Keith definitely, I don't know what changed. I don't know if he's more strict with the players. I don't know if he has a different plan. I don't know what changed, but whatever he's doing, I like it, even though if we're not winning games.
I don't. I want to give Keith credit, and I will give Keith credit. I don't want. I'm not. This is not to take anything away from him, but at the same time, it's also sometimes a fresh voice is exactly what people need, and I think it's just anyone but Wes felt like a breath of fresh air. So even if Keith, I still really think he's a long-term option, even though some people are getting a little too quick to say hire him for like next season. I'm not on that boat yet, but I think as a fresh voice, this team needed that. You can see they still they still sometimes play a little apathetic, but there's a lot more effort than there was before, and I can appreciate that with Keith, the fresh voice. And yeah, definitely those first 3 quarters against the Mavs is one of the few like consistent stretches where this team didn't make mistakes. Like this team, I'm so used to stupid turnovers, stupid shot selection, all that. But the first 3 quarters in that game, it was good team basketball,
It
and it was.
was, yeah.
And another thing, look at the box score. Weirdly fun box score. That's the best way to describe it. Everyone put up like Bagley had a double double, 12 points, 13 rebounds. Tyus Jones, 14 points, 16 assists. Denny had
Yeah,
25.
assists with Tyus.
Even Holmes had 10. You know, it's look
Yeah,
at
everyone shared the ball. There was no like main player other where like Kuz scores like 50 and then the team just doesn't score at all. Like
yeah,
everyone, it was team basketball.
yeah, which I
And
like.
watching a rebuilding bad Wizards team, seeing team basketball is really, really rare. So just watching that happen all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I will shed a tear.
Yeah. So in a game where we've only
Those are
won
fun.
9 games, yeah. So in a season where we've only won 9 games so far, that's definitely a game where I feel a lot. That was
I,
one
I
of
feel like I feel like the future is bright.
I
That's
wouldn't
what
say
I see.
that.
Come on, come on.
Not off that
From what
game.
I've seen at the start of the season, okay, well, talking about the free trip, Bilal didn't really do much. He had like 4 points in 30 minutes or something like that. But
Yeah, hey, we'll talk about we'll harp on Bilal a little later in this episode. We talk
yeah,
about him in the Rising Stars game, but yeah, Bilal this week wasn't really that impressive. But not hating on
Bilal
Bilal, he's a
didn't do
rookie.
that
Rookies will
much.
have off weeks. That's part of being a rookie. But yeah, overall, Mavs game definitely one of the more positive ones for this season. And then yeah, the next game we're going to talk about is one that definitely grabbed some more of the media's headlines, like legit ESPN Bleacher Report headlines. It was Denny Avdia's 43-point, 15 rebound game against the Pelicans.
So the Wizards lost to the Pelicans on Wednesday, 126 to 133.
Valentine's Day.
And yeah, it
Love was
was
in the air.
Valentine's Day. Hope you guys had a great Valentine's Day. If you didn't, it's okay. Me neither. But other than that, Avdi ended up scoring an impressive 43 points, which saved my Valentine's Day, made it a little bit better, you know? I mean, he had some powerful drives to the basket. He knocked down some threes. He was a better 3-point shooter that game than I've seen, I think, all season.
Well, he is shooting
But
40% from the field this year. One of the biggest flaws in his game with his first 3 years of his career. Bro was a brick machine from three. Like you could not trust him. Remember last year, teams would leave him intentionally open. That was part of like their defensive strategy. They baited Advia to shoot,
yeah,
and he shot like
yeah.
29, barely 30% from three last year. This year, completely different story, and that's why he's unlocked a new part of his game. It's really he's been good at driving since last year. He unlocked that last year. This year, he unlocked the 3-point shot, and that's been huge. Especially this last week, he's averaging like 24. So it's been awesome to see the shooting really come around from him.
And the thing is, you know, Denny does have a past of getting like he averages like 20 per game, but then he goes on a slump and averages like 7 to 8 points per game for the rest of the season. Hopefully, we don't see that again. But I
True.
don't know.
I love Denny, but remember last year,
He has
the
that random slump.
well, it also last year there was the week of him going turbo. I remember the game against the Rockets. It all started. He started going vroom vroom. Our stadium now
Oh
goes
yeah.
vroom vroom when he scores. And I love Denny. Don't. I'm not hating on Denny. I want him to keep this up. This is gonna be really hard for him to keep this up. I think there's a chance he keeps it up. It's not a guarantee he keeps this up though, especially based on past performances. 1 week of averaging 20, I want to believe. I think he can, but it's not a guarantee. And I want to keep that in mind. And honestly, I think the truth is somewhere in between. I don't think he's going to go back to averaging 7 points per game, but I don't think he's going to keep averaging 24 per game. But I think over the next week or two, he'll probably level out to being like a 15-point per game scorer, which I'm totally cool with. Denny leveling out there.
Yeah.
That's a more than productive player. And if he can definitely keep up the playmaking skills that he's been showing in recent weeks, he's not a point forward like Luka, but if he can just at least be a somewhat decent facilitator of the ball, especially besides Tyus, no one on this team is really that good dishing the ball. Poole has really not shown any playmaking abilities. Like he had some in Golden State this year, he hasn't had any. Kuzma, not really a playmaker. Bilal, Corey, none of them can. So if Denny can somewhat help move the rock, that's another facet of his game that's underlooked, but I think really valuable to this team. And yeah, my opinion of Denver Optia is a lot more positive than it was a month ago. So it's great to see. And man,
Oh, most definitely.
he's on an awesome contract. Love it.
And me personally, I definitely owe Danny an apology because I remember last season, I'm like, man, why did they put Danny back in? I was like complaining about Danny so much. I mean, I had my reasons, but now I'm gonna sign my Denny apology form. I'm gonna send it to him because he's been playing really well so far. Like I look forward to seeing him play, but we just have to see how he does versus the Nuggets. I think tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah, tomorrow.
tomorrow.
It's in Denver, late game, 8 or 9 p.m. So chug that caffeine to stay up late for that one. But it also another thing I appreciate about the Denny's recent hot streak. Finally, some positive press about the Wizards in the media. Kevin Garnett is praising him. So many like other podcasts I keep up with basketball related praising Denny. Like no
And I hope
dunks.
Denny can
Yeah.
take the praise because he does have a lot of pressure now. Like he's being compared to like Giannis, Luka. I remember him being put on
Uh,
like some of the top players to be like there were some statistics, and then there were like big names like Giannis, Luka. I think I saw like Pascal Siakam, and there's like Danny Avdia. Just all of these things. I just hope he can like take in the pressure instead of I don't know. You know what I'm talking about.
I
There's a lot of
think
pressure on him
I
now, at
think the
least.
best thing I think the pressure is fine. Like compare him to people. He's been getting comparisons to players throughout his whole career because he's been as a player identity. He's been really weird through his player development. I'm not gonna lie. And I think the best thing for him moving forward is don't compare yourself to anybody. You don't play like Luca. You don't play like Giannis. You don't play like Pascal. There isn't really any comparisons of like a guy that averages 4 to 5 assists but can also drive to the basket and like he is a he's a jack of all trades is what he's really becoming right now. And there's 3 and D players, but I wouldn't even compare the perfect NBA 3 and D player right now is OG Anunoby. Perfect 3 and D player. But I would even say he's like Denny's a little bit more of a playmaker than him, honestly. So I don't think there's another NBA player I could really compare Denny to. I think Denny should remind that his skill set is just everything right now. Denny is an everything tool set. That's what that makes him
Yeah, he
awesome.
has been doing everything
Yeah.
on the team. Yeah.
And yeah, one more thing I also want to mention with the Denny's hot streak. You mentioned we're going to talk about Kuzma a little bit this episode, and I feel like people are getting way too hard on Kuzma this week, just because Denny's been really hot and Kuzma's still putting up 20-ish per game, and he's been doing this for like 2.5 years for us now, and I think consistent. Yeah, he has nights where he misses like 15 shots, but more often than not, he is still putting up a bulk of our points. I don't think we should instantly like say Kuzma is a detriment to this team. I know a lot of Denny's stands are they're legitimately like destroy Kuzma. He is destroying Denny's growth or whatever. They've been saying that for a while. I've been seeing that like Reddit
No,
and stuff.
I don't get that. I don't understand the Kuzma hate. I don't understand it. Like he stayed with us. He's still scoring. He's averaging 20 for us, averaging like 21, 22. I don't see where the hate is. To be honest, I understand if there's hate for Poole, but Kuzma, I mean, he can be a little bit weird sometimes, but he is like our franchise player at the moment.
It's
So
just
he has to earn a little bit of respect.
is Kuzma's ceiling still a number 3 option? Yes,
Yes.
but at the same time on this current roster you can't fault him for trying to do a little bit more. And it's hard. He's at this point like he's the one that gets the defensive attention from teams. Like Daddy's gonna get a little more defensive attention now, but usually Kuz gets the team's best defenders just because Poole, no one cares about Poole anymore. And like what Corey, sure. Like teams know how to defend Corey. They just guard the perimeter, and then Corey will manipulate that. But oh, look at me, I'm gonna go cut to the basket. He does that once a game, but overall, like Kuzma gets the most defensive attention. He has the most besides before this week by Denny. Kuzma had the most consistent offensive production. Yeah, Kuzma has his cold stretches as well, but overall, like Kuzma has done a lot for this franchise last 2.5 years. Most relevant player like the last year for this franchise. Denny's the hero right now, but don't just say Kuzma is worthless to this team. Kuzma still has value to this team. Once again, I love besides Poole's worst contract in NBA in my opinion right now, but I think like Denny awesome contract, and Kuzma I think is also another player on a really good contract, really tradable, and then especially his salary goes down each year, so he's only gonna get more and more tradable as every year goes on. So yeah, I just want to quickly say like
No, that
Kuzma,
was a really good point.
yeah, like don't hate on Kuzma and Denny can coexist, and this for the future, or at least the temporary future of this team until ideally probably Kuzma will get moved. But for now, while Kuzma's on this team, still appreciate him.
For sure. I mean, I love Kuz. I love Kuz as a person. I love Kuz as a style. I love Kuz as a player. I just love Kuz overall, and he does not
As a
deserve to be getting hate.
Speaking of loving him as a person, I love that quote he said recently. You want to share the quote he said?
What quote?
The quote about that him about refusing going to Dallas.
Oh,
He could have been
right.
at Mav. Weird gave him the option.
So there's a little trade thingy going on. I saw that it was in some post game media. Kuzma revealed that Michael Winger presented him with a trade offer, expressing that Dallas was interested in acquiring him. However, Winger left the decision entirely up to Kuzma, asking him what he wanted to do. And he said that he wants to stay with the Wizards and continue building something with the team. And then Wizards Twitter, man, when I tell you everyone was blowing up.
Well, there's a second part to that too. He had made a few other comments too. He would like that he just doesn't. He says his timeline doesn't match the Mavs timeline in terms of building a contender, which that comment actually really confused me because we're in the middle of a rebuild. The Mavs are contending right now, and Kuzma is you're kind of in the middle of your prime right now. You're going to be in your 30s before you know it. And I just like some of the things he said kind of confused me. I'm not going to lie, but I appreciate the sentiment of putting us up over the Mavs in terms of wanting to stick it out for a little bit.
Do you think that he actually wants to build something with the Wizards? Do you think he has that in him?
That is an like let me put myself in Kyle Kuzma's little Puma shoes that he wears. If I put myself in his Clyde Drexler whatever they're called, the Clyde Drexler Kuzma. I don't remember what his shoes called. I don't pay attention to Puma shoes. I'm not gonna lie. I have I like their like Ferrari jackets and stuff and their F1 merch, but I don't pay attention to their shoes. I'm not gonna lie. But regardless about that, let me put myself in a nice Kuzma puffer jacket and think about this. Okay, if I'm Kuzma, he right now is still the future number one option of this team because there's until Denny evolves, Bilal evolves, until we draft, I don't know, Zachary Rissacher and he evolves. Kuzma is still right now technically the leader of the team. And I guess it sounds appealing to him to keep being a number one option instead of being like a third or even fourth or even honestly fifth option on a lot of championship teams. And that's appealing to him in a way. And then also another thing to keep in mind is that Kuzma has won a ring. He has a ring with the Lakers. That's out of his system. Maybe instead of he's happy with the ring he has, he just wants to be a leader on a team. And I mean, I can respect that, wanting to lead a team. Like Kuzma is for better or for worse compared to everyone else in the locker room. Is him and Anthony Gill I think are the two biggest vocal leaders of the locker room. Like Kuzma, Denny's talked about Kuzma has like gave him great advice, and Kuzma does care about his teammates. He was a little confusing whether he wanted to leave or not in the offseason, but I think he appreciates his team as somewhat loyalty to him, and I think he's repaying that favor. And this team, because also when Kuzma came to DC, his reputation was a little bit in the gutter because he had a really bad playoff performance with the Lakers. There was a lot of people joking like, "Ni hao, send him to China, Ben Simmons." Like that was literally one of the jokes when he was getting traded here. But he saved his reputation. People value him a lot more. Some consider him a fringe all-star. Maybe I don't know about fringe all-star, but some say that. I don't know about that. But overall, I think Kuzma appreciates the role that he has with this team, and I don't. I think he was a little. I think he was just speaking off the cuff. I don't think he really was thinking what he was saying when he was like, "Oh yeah, this team's on a better timeline than the Mavs, and I want to really build something here." I don't know about that, but I think at the very least he appreciates the opportunity this team gives him.
I totally agree with you. And there was this whole other side to like Wizards Twitter where they're like, no, Kuzma just wants to get the bag. He just wants to get the money. And I mean, he already did get the money
Yeah,
from us.
what bag is there to get? He's under contract for another three and a half years.
I was super confused.
Like
so I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
He wants to ball hog, sure, but
yeah, he can ball hog for like another 2-3 years for us. I mean, there's no point, no downside here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But once we're actually competitive, then.
And there's some people saying, is Kuzma just holding out for like a better opportunity in the Mavs? Because, this is a really good question. Kuzma and the Mavs, are they a title contender? Yes or no? That's a really interesting question.
Anyone who's on the Mavs now?
If you put Kuzma on the Mavs roster, ignore Gafford, like take away the Gafford PJ Washington trade, throw Kuzma on the Mavs roster, take away, I don't know, Maxi Kleba or something. And that's the Mavs roster after a theoretical Kuzma trade. Because I definitely think I view them as a conference finals threat, like the Mavs did a few years ago back when they had Brunson. I think they could do that again with Kuz. Finals though?
Yeah. No,
they could.
I don't think.
I could see it. Like I see them sneaking in, but I also could see them never making the finals still with Kuz.
I agree. The Mavs will make it far, like in the playoffs. But when it comes to finals time, I don't think that team will go pretty far. Like they need to add at least one more asset. I think they'll need Gafford. If Kuzma and Gafford are on the Mavs together,
that's a finals team. That's a
finals game.
And honestly,
but if it's just Kuzma without PJ Washington or Daniel Gafford, then not really.
I feel like this should be talked about when it comes to the rumors. I haven't seen anything. People are saying it would be Kuz and Gafford. Financially, the Mavs could have made Kuzma and Gafford work in a single trade. Like, keep Rashawn, Maxey, throw, like, Olivier Omax, their, like, first-round pick this year hasn't done anything. And that trade, I think, financially would work. That's a I don't, but then they also would Winger because the Mavs don't have many assets. They only had like 2 first round picks max they could have given up, and 2 first round picks for Kuz and Gafford feels like we're getting robbed. I'm not gonna lie, but if Winger for some reason agreed to that trade and Dawkins, yeah, the Mavs are a finals contender. But without Gafford, I'm being for real. Like having that second center means so much to that team, and I think one more thing Kuz also considered. I mean, I'm not gonna say he wants to be a ball hog, but the ball would definitely be in his hands a lot less playing next to Kyrie and Luka. Those are two ball dominant guys, and Kuzma was an off ball guy once LeBron came to LA, and I don't know if that was the most of. Kuzma is effective in that role, but I don't know if he wants to go back to that. So that also could be another thing that played a factor. But yeah, overall, at least for now, thank you, Kyle Kuzma, for your DC loyalty. I can keep wearing my Kuzma cherry blossom shirt that I own and not feel ashamed about it. So yeah, I look forward to.
He had like a little non-official no trade clause, you know, like he had to say.
I don't. I think
Well,
if like
then why else would Winger approach him?
because I think it's out of respect. I think also Winger wasn't himself crazy about the trade. He's like, Kuzma, if you're not happy here, I will trade you. But Kuzma was like, no, I'm happy here. He's like, okay, I'll keep you because I don't really like
I'm
this
not
trade.
so sure that is a non-official no trade clause.
No,
Technically, he said, well, okay, maybe
let's
not.
just say hypothetically, Kuzma for Wemby. Dawkins and Winger wouldn't ask Kuzma, "What do you think?" They would just ship Kuzma off. Like the only reason is because they were iffy about the trade, and they're like, "We're gonna move you anyways. So if you feel like uncertain, we will move you now." It's like people who
Man.
like, for an example, it's like people who say, "Oh yeah, I'm just playing the field right now. I'm still in my early 20s. I'm in my late teens in the dating field." It's the kind of people that put on their Tinder like short-term relationship, and it's like, what is a short-term relationship? Because you're not looking for a hookup, but like also
Well,
you're not looking for a long-term relationship. You're just kind of enjoying commitment in your youth years. And right now, the Kuzma to the Wizards is a short-term relationship. I mean, if we're being real, it's not a long-term relationship. Kuzma was here for only another year or two, and both sides realized that. So Winger and Dawkins were like, if this is only going to be a short-term relationship, do you want out
I
now
get your,
so you can
I
find a
get your
long-term
point.
relationship?
I get your point.
I think it's a really good analogy. And especially Valentine's Day was not that
Bro, I
long
was
ago.
not expecting that.
It
Oh
was
my
a week ago.
goodness.
I just think, legitimately, that's the way that Winger Dawkins approached it. If you want to go leave now, Kuzma, and be long term with the Mavs, we'll trade you. But Kuzma's like, no, I'll stay short term now until I just want something new. But for now, I'm happy being in a short term relationship with you. And that's what Kuzma with the Wizards is right now.
Wow, W take. Interesting. Sully GM.
I should be. I want
Wow.
to go on Sports Center and say stuff like that.
That's too funny, man. While we're still on the trade topic,
They better. They better
Delon
say
Wright.
well. They better say more on the love topic. Okay.
What?
Talk about Delon. Talk about Delon.
Delon has agreed on a contract buyout with Miami. So some little trade here. I mean,
It's not a trade. It's
it's
just
not
he. It's just
trade. I mean, you know, like
he
you know what I mean.
contract buyout for
Yeah.
anybody who doesn't understand. Contract buyout is basically when the player and the team agree to part ways. So the player agrees to give up a certain amount of money in his contract so that he can be waived, and so that there's no like dead money or there's less dead money, and when another team picks them up, they can just give them like a minimum contract. So essentially, the Wizards were like, yeah, DeLon, your expiring contract. No point you here. Go have fun at contender. And so that's exactly what he did. They agreed to a buyout, and I don't know how he immediately found Miami in like 5 seconds after the buyout. I guess Coach Spo, Pat Riley called him up already, but tampering. Oh, the NBA should find the Heat for tampering with DeLon Wright. But regardless, I mean, what do you
Buy
got?
Delon. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't.
I loved him last year. Legitimately.
Oh, Delon last year was insane. First he
Like,
steals your balls, then he steals your heart. That was amazing.
yeah, like
Like Delon's defense last year was amazing, and this
if
year
you
he's
looked at
been
his
kind
defensive
of
metrics, like he was hurt a lot last year when he played. Legitimately,
no. When he
statistically,
played, we won a lot more games when he played.
we had a close to like 500 record with DeLon playing, and then also statistically, I think he was like a top 5, top 10 in a lot of like the advanced defensive statistics. Like not like your obvious like blocks per game, but like the dumb like I don't know the defensive stops per Chick-fil-A eaten per semester, whatever defense advanced like stuff you say in Basketball Reference that people reference all the time. So in terms of those stats, DeLon was a top defender. I saw DeLon got like 3 or 4 all defensive team votes last year too, which I think is probably Kuzma voting for him. I know Kuzma respects his defense a lot. It's probably his Wizards teammates respecting him, which fair. Like this, he made a legitimate impact last year, but this year got hurt again and came back. Who do you say he look? I keep asking you this every time we talk about DeLon. Who do you say he looks like now with his hair?
The
What rap?
line?
So his new hair, his new hair he had this year. His dreads. Well, who does he look? What rap?
21 Savage.
Yeah, he came back looking like 21
He was
Savage.
21 Savage.
Yeah, after coming back from injury. But yeah, it didn't really do much. His offense, he kind of just stopped shooting altogether. Michael, he just doesn't shoot anymore. And then also, he used to be an okay passer this year, even now. Part of it is the team is stupid with their offensive schemes, but then also it's just I think DeLon's playmaking abilities maybe just he was a little bit fuzzy coming back from the injury, and even his world class defense. Yeah, he was still getting steals, but it just wasn't the same into the game impact that he had last year. I think a lot of it's just I can understand he's getting older, and he's probably like I don't know what to add to this team anymore. There's a lot of weird guys on this team that wasn't here last year. I'm playing with Jordan Poole now. What am I supposed? I can't guard both point guards and point guard and shooting guard. So I get it. Maybe DeLon wasn't fully in his head with the Wizards this year. So I think yeah, it's best for both sides. I mean, it would have been nice to get a second round pick for him, but now at least I think he'll bother the Heat. I think DeLon is the perfect guy for Heat culture. Like he is the definition of a Heat culture guy. Coach Spo will unlock him. I'm sure he'll be the new Gabe Vincent of their playoff run this year. But I mean, yeah, there's not much to say about DeLon being gone, but I appreciate what you did, and I hope you prosper in
Salute to
Miami.
the line.
I'm
I
not
think
gonna,
he'll be a pretty good fit for Miami, right?
yeah, especially
Yeah,
because like
most definitely.
especially because they don't have Lowry anymore. They got Terry Rozier, and Terry Rozier is not a defender at all. So when they need a defender at the guard spot, DeLon can step in. So yeah, DeLon will perfectly fit in Heat culture. And I'm not gonna lie, if DeLon played this year like he played last year, and if he signed like a 1 year contract extension, I would have gotten a DeLon jersey. I'm being for real. If DeLon played this year like he played
Oh,
last year,
okay, hey.
I would have bought a DeLon
Okay.
jersey. You know how happy I like watching DeLon at his best last year, man. Like I love good defense. I'm a sucker for good defense. That's why Bilal's won me over. That's why DeLon won me over. That's why like the first like 2 months Kuzma played here, he won me over because he played really good defense his first month here. It was kind of interesting. And at times Denny can sometimes win me over. Now he's won me over with offense, but defense wins me over a lot. And, our defense only gets weaker, but it's fine. We open up roster spots for maybe Johnny will get minutes, maybe Jared Butler will get minutes. My guy, Julius Bernard, he better get minutes.
He was G League Player of the Week at some point.
Julius
Or it was
Bernard's
pretty
putting
recent.
up 20 blindfolded every week in the G League. And you telling me, nah, Landry Shamet should play every week. No. Julius Bernard should be playing over Landry Shamet. I'm sorry. I'm the number one Julius Bernard
I
fan.
love Landry. Landry's cool. He just like
Yeah,
runs and shoots a three.
yeah,
It's
but
so satisfying.
I don't like he doesn't do anything on defense. He's got to leave after next year. I just play Jules Bernard, man. Play my guy. And also we currently have we had after the DeLon being bought out, we were down to 13 players on our roster, which leaves 2 open roster spots for 10-day contracts or a full-time contract. And we did use one of those 10-day contracts up recently. Um, what's his face? His last name's Champagne.
It's Champagne, Justin
Champagne.
Champagne.
Justin, is it
Is that
Jules
his
or
name?
Justin? I think it's Justin Champagne. Justin
I
Champagne,
remember
yes.
he sort of he was on the Spurs, right?
He was on the Spurs. He is a guy I remember. He's like a very deep cut.
He
Like, oh
cooked
yeah,
us a bit when we versed them. I'm not gonna lie.
a while ago, he was
Yeah,
on the Spurs. And then also, I remember he was like one of those deep cut guys on the Spurs bench. Like, is this one of Popovich's secret weapons? He's like the next Keldon Johnson or whatever. And I never know. He averaged 2 points per game, whatever. But he's been balling out in the G League this year. He's been averaging like 17 points, 18 points per game in the G League, I believe, this year. So he's been solid in the G League.
I'm definitely not mad with this little. Was it how long is it? 10 days?
10 days. Another question though is, do I trust Keith to actually give him minutes? Every 10-day contract we signed this year, we haven't done anything with, which is kind of annoying for a bad team. First, we had Hamidou Diallo, a guy that legitimately I think should have gotten a run for it based on his. Why are you laughing at Hamidou Diallo? He's been in the NBA for like 4 or 5 years. He averaged 8 points per game last year in the NBA.
I keep forgetting about it.
I know. He played 2 games this year, and he scored. He scored 2 points in his 2 games, and yeah, that was Hamidou's time.
Okay, Hamidou Diallo, everybody.
And then Trey Jameson came in. You remember Trey Jameson?
I don't remember Trey that.
Me neither, because he also played like 1 game, and then we let him go. And now he's been starting for the Grizzlies now. So I don't know where the Grizzlies. I don't know where Trey Jameson came in, but he's getting playing time. He looks serviceable. Maybe we need centers. Maybe we should have kept Trey Jameson. And then now we're on to the Justin Champagne.
He has like actual NBA experience.
It's like Diallo did too.
I feel like Champagne is more relevant than Hamidou Diallo is, because
No, Hamidou. That's
no.
Hamidou averaged 8 points per game last. He's been in the league for 4.
Hamidou Diallo.
No one knows Justin Champagne.
I know him.
I knew Hamidou. I did not know Champagne. Okay, Evan stats pulled up. He played 36 games in 2022 for the Raptors. Averaged 2.3 points per game. They averaged 2 points per game the next year. Between the Raptors and Celtics, he averaged 2 and 2.5 points per game. Wait, hold on. Oh no. Wait, this is gonna make me look really dumb. I think I got the wrong guy pulled up for his stats. That's how irrelevant this guy is. Hold up.
Justin Champagne?
Yeah, the one I'm looking at has never played for the Spurs. Or
Champagne? No, he did. I swear I watched a game with him. I swear I did.
Unless
there's another Champagne in the league.
Nope, he's only played for the Celtics and Raptors. So I think he was like yeah, I think he looks like a Spurs guy. He's not a Spurs guy. He might have been like a summer league roster for them. He has never been on. No, this year he split time between the Raptors and Celtics. He played for Pitt in college. Yeah, no.
Oh, whoops! I was thinking of Julian Champagne on the Spurs.
Listen, why is there 2? Wait, there's 2 people.
There's 2 Champagnes. I remember that Julian.
Oh, wait, are they twins? They're twins.
Oh, that's who I was thinking about. Okay,
They're
I don't know who Justin Champagne
Okay,
is.
that's why I was kind of excited. I was like, I recognize vaguely. No, this is the worst brother.
Oh, never mind. Okay, this is a completely different Champagne.
Okay.
That did not cook us that time.
I promise we do our research before these podcasts, but sometimes these 10-day contracts that don't mean anything. It kind of went over my head, and I saw Champagne, or is it Champagne? I don't know, Champagne or Champagne, whatever the heck.
It's Champagne. It's Champagne.
Whatever his last name is. I was like, there can't be another one of this guy in the NBA, in the league. But apparently there's twins for these guys, and we got the worst twins. Okay, what? Sure. Regardless, this one has been doing well in the G League this year for the Sioux Falls Skyforce, I believe. So the Heat's G League team, so sure, whatever. We'll see. We'll see. He also might be gone in 10 days. But
it will be.
Also,
we never keep any of them.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Has there been any 10-day contract guys I've liked on the Wizards the last few years? Why is the first 10-day contract guy I think of Ron Baker? Ron Baker is the first. You don't know Ron Baker, the legend of Ron Baker? Bro was a Knicks legend for a month, and then he looks like
Can I say something real quick?
What?
Can I say something? You said Knicks legend. I just want to say Taj Gibson Day has been declared on February 18th. I just wanted to say that. Wizards legend Taj Gibson.
Now I don't think it was.
Mayor.
I don't think it was declared because of his playing. I think it was he's done a lot of community work in New York.
Taj Gibson, guys. So we should congratulate him.
Yeah, Taj middle name.
Just remember that.
Taj middle name Jami Gibson. Yeah, but he's done a lot of good work in the community for New York, like just charity work, like stuff. So kudos to Taj. The 1 year he played here, Seemed like a nice enough teammate. So, yeah, former Wizard, give the former Wizard some love. But, yeah, Taj Gibson love. But, yeah, so honestly, I think I'd rather see Taj Gibson on another 10-day contract at this point. Why not? Why the heck not? I'm sure he'd be happy to see some of his old, talk to Denny, talk to Kuz again. Like, how you doing, guys? Talk to Gil. Like, how y'all doing? And also, remember Taj? He was on the preseason roster before getting cut. He was part of the Wizards fashion show this summer. He was there.
Oh yeah. No, I remember the preseason game versus the Knicks. He scored like 3 threes in a row. I'm like, hold on, Taj. I don't know. I thought we were gonna keep him, but he just left. So
Taj is a really interesting cult hero in the NBA recently. Like, Knicks fans adore him at this point. They chant, "We want Taj." His 10-day contract did expire, so we'll see what happens with him now. I hope the Knicks sign him for the rest of the year. Like, keep Taj on a roster. He's like their version of
he'll be the
Anthony.
next Udonis Haslam.
He could be a Haslam. I think he's the Knicks version of Anthony Gill, if I'm being honest, judging by how they interact with him and how they love him. He's so I'm being for real, but it also is just like he gets tired after playing 10 minutes now. His playing career is pretty much over, but NBA circles love him. Like, NBA Twitter freaks out every time the Knicks sign him. Like, the Knicks have cut him like 3 times this year and brought him back because Tom Thibodeau secretly loves Taj Gibson. And every time he gets brought back, Knicks Twitter, even NBA Twitter in general, even me, I'm like, hell yeah, bring back
We love Taj, everybody.
according to
You
Basketball
can't hate
Reference.
Taj Gibson. He's done nothing wrong.
Here, let's play a little. Let's play some 5-second trivia. What is, according to BasketballReference.com, what are Taj Gibson's 2 nicknames?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Think of a hard-working man. What kind of nickname would he get?
A hard what?
A hard-working man who's bald.
A hardworking man who's bald.
What is a hardworking man? What kind of... Someone who does the dirty work. Someone who
What's the word for that?
someone who helps establish the foundation.
What? I
Someone
don't
who
know
will
the
help
word
carry
for
your
that.
lunch. Remember,
What's the word for that?
there are 2 nicknames, by the way.
Tell me.
All right, his nicknames are Hard Hat and Lunch Pail. Taj Lunch Pail Gibson.
What?
You gotta react to the
Taj-
podcast listeners.
What?
You can't stay
What?
silent. I couldn't-
I'm processing
If you
that.
go to YouTube, Raj just like his face is like what right now. If you're on the podcast, it's a little visual for you to have, but
Taj Hard Hat Gibson and what lunch pail?
yeah, because
What does that mean?
I don't know. He's
Lunch pail.
because
Whatever.
they're both construction nicknames because he does so much hard work. He's a grit and grind guy. He was a real tough guy down low. Okay, I'm not saying this just because they're both like bald guys with beards, but Taj Gibson's playing a career. Okay, I know modern Taj Gibson is like Anthony Gill, but prime Taj Gibson was like Drew Gooden times 2. Everything Drew Gooden did, prime Taj Gibson did it twice as good. Like back on the Bulls, Taj Gibson with Derrick Rose, really young Jimmy Butler, those teams, Carlos Boozer. Prime Taj was actually good, unlike Haslam and Gill, like these other like mascot players. Taj is a mascot that was actually good in his prime. At least a very solid, serviceable player. Like, have you ever looked at Taj Gibson highlights?
No, I've never searched up Taj Gibson
Well,
highlights.
a few months
I've
ago.
only seen like one dunk when he was on the Bulls. That's it.
A few months ago, one of those nights I couldn't sleep. I found myself watching Taj Gibson Bulls highlights, and I don't know. I'm just saying I gotta respect. That's all I'm saying. I gotta respect for Taj Gibson. I don't know. We've been talking about Taj Gibson for 5 minutes on this episode, but yeah, respect to Taj.
I do the same thing at night, except with Corey Kispert highlights. I watch his Wizards highlights, his Gonzaga highlights, his ping pong highlights, his pickleball highlights, some other
Alright.
highlights.
That's enough. That's enough Corey standing. All right, let's get back on track. We have one more important thing to talk about this episode. I remember I told you. Yes, All-Star Weekend. I remember I told you to hold off on Bilal for a bit because I was like, if we want to talk about Bilal being cold, save it for All-Star Weekend. And yeah, that was I'm not going to talk about the Celebrity Game. Celebrity Game sucked this year. Kai Cenat was in it. No one else I cared about really was in that game. So, like, I miss the days when Justin Bieber and Kevin Hart were in the All-Star Game. This year, horrible lineup for the All-Star game. I mean, horrible lineup for the celebrity game. So we're not going to even call it the celebrity game. So yeah, the first relevant event was the Rising Stars game, which is new format's a lot different than it used to be. It's like divided into like 4 teams. So there's like a couple. There's like the G League guys, and then there's like the rookie guys. So they're all divided into teams. They play like these mini games against each other in like a mini bracket. And yeah, we'll focus on Team POW versus Team Deadlift. I'll let you cover what happened in that game.
So Bilal got selected by Pau Gasol to play on his Rising Stars team, and they faced off against Team Detlef, the G League team, and they shocked everyone with a 41-36 victory over Wemby and friends and Bilal. So sadly, Bilal got the least minutes on the court with 7 minutes and 44 seconds,
Broke
and he
out of the
scored 4 points. Got to be specific. With 7 minutes, and he scored 4 points. He got a steal. He had a little dunk too. So, yeah. I wanted them to win. I expected them to win.
They should have.
But
I don't freaking know. Mac McClung.
The other guys.
Yeah, the other guys will probably get picked up 10-day contracts pretty soon. They all balled out. They played the game of their lives, and I'm not gonna say the Rising Stars didn't try like the actual NBA ones, but I guess they didn't. They weren't playing to their full potential. I don't know. Maybe Wemby is cursed because Wemby can't win anything.
Wemby played super weird.
Wemby, okay,
I don't know.
Wemby.
He couldn't catch the ball. He turned over the ball. He can't make passes.
Well,
He made some easy shots though.
I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on this. I could be wrong, but off the top of my head, I believe the team that Wemby and Bilal played for last year, the Mets '92, whatever they're called. I think they barely lost like 9, 10, or 11 games last year. Then this year in the Spurs have lost so many games. Rising Stars game, Victor loses. Even the skills challenge, him and the team with the first picks, they lost.
Oh
So,
yeah.
like Victor cannot win a single thing this year. There's like you see those memes of him like just sitting on the bench next to Paulo, just looking sad.
I have seen some of those memes, yeah. But it
But
was super unexpected. We were like, oh, Team Power is gonna win the whole Rising Stars bracket, but
because like
first
they had
round
a
exit.
solid roster. But yeah,
Solid roster, definitely. They had
maybe they didn't play
oh,
Bilal enough. I'm kidding. I don't think Bilal playing more would have changed anything.
wow.
I think
Wow.
I love you, Bilal. I'm just saying right now. I think the G Leaguers they were destined to win. And then also I think
Yeah,
Bilal getting some
they played ball really hard.
and I think Bilal getting
Props to
some
them.
yeah, I think Bilal getting some minutes is also indicative of just how he kind of barely made the team. Because a lot of people are like, oh,
The Thompson twins should
Thompson
have
twin the
made it.
Pistons.
Yeah,
Frig, is it Ahmed or Asar? I think it's
I
Asar.
think
It's
a
Asar.
star is on. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
star.
it's like oh Asar should have made it and stuff. And I think there's people are like oh Asar should have made it, and that's why they're like I guess it was reflected in Powell only playing in 7 minutes, but whatever. It's the Rising Stars game. I'm not gonna put too much stock into it. I'm happy that any Wizard was there at Rising Stars weekend. Apparently Gil was there too, watching Bilal in the stands. So that was nice. I guess him and but he probably took Bilal to go get ice cream after the game or something. So I'm sure Bilal was happy to have him there. I know I read like an article recently. I forgot what like sports site was it, but it was went in depth about the Bilal's journey as a rookie NBA and that how Gil, just like how every Wizard, he touches their heart. Bilal has been touched by Gil's niceness, Gil driving him around, Gil taking him for haircuts. So I'm sure Bilal appreciates having Gil there.
Most definitely. And he also had a little dinner date with Ted Leonsis. I saw a little picture of that on Wizards Twitter.
Uh,
So I mean, that's a little something as well.
the 19-year-old kid and his family, and then the real estate mogul have dinner together.
And he
Uh,
was in junior NBA. Like he was like teaching kids, which was cool to see, I guess.
yeah, love
Next
you, Bilal.
generation.
Next year,
We love Bilal.
yeah, next year, you'll be on the map during All Star
Next year he's
Weekend.
gonna take a leap.
You better,
Yeah.
you better, Bilal.
You-
Uh,
He's literally our only hope.
yeah, and then
Plus, we also got a good pick in the draft with Zachary, Rashad Shea, Alex Sarr, whatever the rest.
Isaiah Collier.
Him as
Yeah,
well.
you would see it. You would,
French
okay,
guys.
yeah.
Bronny
Collier,
James.
Collier's not French. Yeah, Party's not French either. We
Bronny.
just named a bunch of French
Oh, we
guys.
got LeBron.
We just named a bunch of French guys and a bunch of guys that play for USC. All right. Anyways, well,
Anyways,
we are a Wizards podcast, but I think it's fun. We'll briefly talk about what else happened during All Star Weekend. Next up in the order, I mean, is there anything with the skills challenge besides I mean, Team Pacers won? Is there anything else to talk about from that?
mm, not really. It's just a skills challenge. Nothing crazy happened.
Um,
And I
I
was really
guess
surprised how Tyrese played during the skills. He's been really good recently.
I love Tyrese. Tyrese,
Tyrese is
one
super
of my
cool.
favorite not Wizards in the league, legitimately. And I'm gonna stay on this. Wait, I'm gonna stay on this. I think I said this to you like a year ago, and you flamed me for this, but I'm gonna stick up to this. I have the same jump shot as Halliburton. I have the same jump
Yeah, well, I
shot.
don't remember what your jump shot looks like.
No, because he shoots like me. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, you can see a visual. It's like we follow through with both our hands. That's like incorrect form. But Halliburton, if you ever watch him shoot, he's like he kind of both his hands
His like
follow through.
neck is down, and he's like,
But that's how I
it's super weird.
that's how
I
I
don't know why he
shoot.
shoots like that.
That's how I shoot the rec center. So I like Halliburton for
Okay,
that reason
well,
too. We have the same broken jump shot. So yeah, you know what? Team Pacers won. That's cool.
he knocks it down though.
They beat. Also, I just thought it was funny that it was a tie, so they had to go to the half court shot to decide the skills challenge. I thought that was
Oh
funny.
yeah, that was
Just
funny.
watching them like the All Stars, like just Trey Young chucking for 50 seconds. I was
And
like, also,
Tyrese, he's also the one who made it too.
also yeah, and also because like Trey Young and all that, because they were in the 3 point contest. I kind of wonder, did it hurt him with 3 point contest? Was he tired after shooting like a minute of half court shots? Did it affect his 3 point contest performance? I don't know.
I
He
was
didn't make,
really expecting Trey to make it in like the fifth try or something, but
you
he
know,
didn't.
he's like a trigger Trey shoots him deep, but he didn't make it to the finals of 3 point. We can cover that next. Trey didn't make it to the finals of 3 point contest. I think that's one of my favorite 3 point contests in recent years. Like that was a lot of fun. Like everyone tied with scoring 26. Like why are you laughing? Are you thinking of like Larry Markkinen? Like why are you laughing right now?
Sorry, my roommate. I'm sorry.
You're good. But yeah, did you enjoy the 3 point contest?
It was a really fun. I think it is the only 3 point contest I've ever watched because I don't think I
Like
remember
live?
watching the one last year. Yeah,
Well, I've
so it's
been
pretty cool to see watching like Dame, watching Cat. I didn't think Cat was like I knew he could shoot.
Cat
I didn't
won
know
a
he could
three
shoot it
point
like
contest. He's
that.
won it before.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm saying I haven't watched any of the ones before, so I didn't know.
Yeah, Cat is the modern day
Yeah,
Dirk. Also, I got a little bit mad when they interviewed Cat because they said Cat is the first big man in the win the 3 point contest, which is not true. Dirk was the first big man to win it, and then also if you count Pedro Stojakovic was 6'10", he's won it. Kevin Love has won it. So Cat is not the first big man to win the 3 point contest. I don't know what the interviewer did not know what she was talking about. She seems like a nice person, but that was not a correct fact. And then also I don't know, fun 3 point contest, but kind of I don't like Dame winning.
Abe Dollar.
I
Why? What?
because he hasn't been that good from three this year. He's only in it because he's like defending his title, but he was only shot 35% from three this year, and I feel like he didn't like statistically he didn't deserve to be here. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. Okay. Well, he won anyways,
Yeah.
and then he also won the MVP
Yeah,
for
okay.
the All Star
Okay, I
game.
think people are being a little bit too. I know I was just mean to Dame, but people are being a little bit too. They're like, "Oh yeah, Dame, you're just Mr. All Star Weekend because you have no MVPs, you have no awards, you have no championships." And
That
I know
is
what
true. Come on.
I think it's a little unfair. Like, don't hate the guy for trying during All Star Weekend, but yeah, definitely. I think Dame on the Bucks has been. I don't know if it's been Doc Rivers or what, but it's been not a perfect fit. I'm not gonna lie. I think they do miss Drew Holiday's defense. And the Bucks have shown weaknesses at time because Dame is just not the defender that Drew Holiday is. So, but still Dame's an awesome player. Glad he had a fun All Star weekend. And then yeah, next up in the calendar events, something that me and you disagreed on. Steph versus Sabrina. I was rooting for Sabrina so hard, and I
I
don't
was
know why
rooting for
you.
Steph. Dude,
Why?
he's Steph Curry.
I love
That's
chaos
why.
though. I love. I'm gonna take one. I was. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I love feminism. So yeah, I was gonna take a second. Like legitimately, like I think the WNBA should grow. I know like it's not the same brand of basketball as the NBA, but I find the WNBA like yeah they don't dunk as much. Yeah, the shooting percentages are a little bit lower, but like it's fine. It's like I still enjoy watching the WNBA. It's the thing like college. Like college, like they miss so many more shots than they do in the NBA. They don't play as efficient, but I still enjoy college. In the same way, I think the WNBA. I don't know if it would get as big as the NBA, but I think it should grow, and I think this is an event like this, like Steph and Sabrina, is an awesome way for it to grow. And if Sabrina won, I'd be like, hell yeah. Like I don't mind like oh no, women are as good at shooting basketballs as men. Like that's perfectly fine if women are equal shooters to men. I don't mind that.
Okay, well, Steph still won.
Okay,
Yeah.
hater. Okay, you sound like Kenny Smith right now.
Who's Kenny Smith?
Oh my god. Oh
I
my
don't know Kenny
god. He
Smith.
was the guy that kept saying like, why is
Oh,
she?
was he one of the announcers?
He was the one that was hating on everybody the whole night.
Oh.
Kenny the Jet Smith. He's on Inside the NBA, and he was like, "Why isn't Sabrina shooting from the WNBA 3-point line? Why is she shooting with a smaller ball?" Da, da, da. Like Kenny was hating. Like Kenny was
Yeah, he
hating.
was hating a bit too
Even the
much.
dunk contest. He was the guy that's like, "Why isn't the Mexican flag here?" He was just hating the
Oh,
whole night.
yeah, yeah.
Twitter was flaming him for it, and I don't know if he was drunk, but Kenny Smith, like he's kind of an interesting character, but he's not that weird usually. So I don't know what's up with Kenny, but I guess yeah, we can move on to the dunk contest now, which I'm not gonna lie, gets a thumbs down from me. I did not enjoy that.
Mid.
Like,
Why is Jalen Brown is it? Why in it? Why is Jalen Brown in it?
well, I
Who
get it.
decided that?
I mean, he's athletic enough, I guess, and he's an all-star. Like I said, we should praise all-stars. Everyone's like, we want all-stars back in the dunk contest. Jalen Brown volunteered, so we shouldn't hate on him for that. But at the same time, yeah, his dunks just weren't. They weren't it. Like
He
dunking.
jumped over Kai Cenat sitting. Kai
I
Cenat
know.
is like 4 feet tall.
And then Jaime Jaquez jumped over a standing Shaq, and Mac dunked over like his. I don't know if they were his brothers or his dad or friends, whatever. He dunked over like someone holding someone else up on their shoulders. He dunked over
Yeah, he jumped
them.
over 2 people.
Yeah, and Jalen just dunked over a sitting Kaisana, and I
And then
know Jay.
Toppin.
I thought it was funny. Jalen he brought the left-handed glove because like oh yeah people are like oh yeah, Jalen can't dribble with his left hand. I thought it was funny. The dunk actually wasn't that good,
It
but yeah I
was
thought
funny, but the dunk wasn't good, so.
but yeah definitely Jacob Toppin huge snub. Random connection. We have
Oh,
seen
no,
Jacob.
he definitely got snubbed, yeah.
Random connection. Me and Raj have seen Jacob Toppin dunk within a few feet away from us. This happened at a G League game we went to a few months ago. I swear he did a 360 dunk in the G League game we went to. In the dunk contest, I swear he did a 360 dunk very similar to the one he did in game. And yeah, like Jacob, the Toppin family's got hops. So I think it should have been Jacob versus Mac in the finals, which would have been kind of dumb and funny because like the two G League guys in the finals against each other. But I think that was the fair finals matchup.
And then him recreating like a dunk his brother did was also kind of cool to see.
I don't know, some
So,
people are like, "Oh, be original," but I thought it was cool and
no,
fun.
that's really cool. Yeah, overall, I mean, it was still a pretty fun dunk contest. It's always fun watching just random guys dunk. Well, not random, they're still NBA players, G League players. But Mac McClung won 2 games in a row, back to back champion. And even though it wasn't like crazy like last time, like he did like some.
His dunks were better
I
last
don't
year.
know.
They were
Yeah.
better last year.
But I mean, he said it himself. It wasn't his best performance,
But
and he could have done better for the fans. So,
he definitely could have done better, but he was the most deserving outside of everyone tonight. So sure, hats off to Mac McClung.
yeah,
Also,
good job, Matt McClung.
have you been on? I know I reference Wizards Reddit a lot. I saw someone being like, "Should we sign Mac McClung?"
No.
No, he's still look. He's still undersized. Like he could put
Yeah,
up
we
points in the
need
G
big
League.
men.
What was that?
We need big men. I want. Whoa, pause. We need tall players on our team. There. I don't want Mac McClung. Well, he's good. Sure, he can score, but he's tiny. That's not what we need. We need
He's a
some big
defensive
men.
liability. We don't need another small.
Yeah,
We have Jules
we have
Bernard
too many.
and Butler already.
Jewel, yeah, Johnny Davis. But yeah,
So yeah, yeah, please play Johnny Davis. Please play Jules Bernard. Please play Amarui. Please play Bilal. All the young guys. Those are the main things I'm hoping for in the second half of the season.
play the Champagne dude,
Play-
Julie. Yeah,
I don't remember. I already forgot which
I
Champagne
don't
we signed.
remember his name.
Whatever his name is, I hope we play him.
Play him.
Yeah.
Yeah, on
Second half of the season,
versus
like yeah, Shamit's still definitely gonna, unfortunately, gonna get minutes, but still I hope the young guys get more minutes second half, and that's all we can really hope for. Any quick thoughts on what you want from the second half of the season?
Honestly, just keep playing hard because what I've saw ever since Keith was interim coach, we've been playing hard. Pretty close wins against playoff bound teams like the Celtics, 76ers. Just keep playing hard. We may not win. Like, I think we have one of the hardest remaining schedules for this season. One of the hardest. And I
Yeah.
remember I was looking at Wizards Twitter earlier today, and it was like a list of the remaining games, and one of the guys were saying we could probably win around 6 to 8, and then some other guy said 10 to 15. It's just scattered numbers between like 0 to
I've
20 games for a win. Like I don't, that doesn't make any sense. But we'll see.
I've been seeing a lot of people saying we're gonna win 2 or 3 more.
Exactly. So we don't know. If Denny can still perform like he's been performing, I want him to do that. I want Bilal to keep performing well. I want Corey just to keep doing what he's doing. He's been having a really good like uptick recently. But overall, just keep playing hard, I guess, because I know we're like locked in for like a top pick in the draft already. So there's no point trying to win games.
Yeah.
But just keep playing hard.
Yeah, and I think that's a good conclusion to this episode. We'll go more in depth of what we want from the second half of the season in the next episode. We'll go over a few player grades from the relevant players, and also what we expect from the second half of the season from our most relevant players. And yeah, just over what to expect from the last 20 games. And we'll also do a little recap of the Nuggets game and the games over this weekend in our next episode. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I think the second half of the season will be more fun than the first half. The first half was a little depressing, but I think as the more of the young guys play, the second half will be a lot more fun.
Most definitely.
All right, wait, before we go, I'm going to throw something wild out there. Something to get people excited to keep tuning in to episodes throughout the rest of the season of this podcast. Are you ready to hear this?
Let's hear it. Yep.
All right. Are you willing to place a wager with me?
Okay. Let me hear it.
Okay. Let's play a game. So, what do you think how many wins do you think the Wizards will have at the end of the season? What do you think their final record, how many wins will they have?
We have 9 wins now. We're gonna lose to the Nuggets.
Don't go through the whole schedule. Just look
No, I'm not. I'm just 17 wins.
Okay. I'm going to go. Usually I'm the optimist, but I'm going to be pessimistic. I'm going to go 14 wins.
Okay.
Okay, and here's my challenge. Whoever is further away from the amount of wins this team ends up with has to eat some kind of. I'll go buy a really spicy pepper. The generic eat a spicy pepper challenge.
Oh, it's not. Okay, fine. Deal.
Shaking. We're shaking on our virtual right now. And yeah, definitely by the off season, me and Raj will be back. We'll be in the same room because we'll be back from summer break. We'll do a hot pepper challenge, and I think I'm gonna win. Actually, wait, let me do the math. Wait, so look, if the Wizards won 15 games, or 14 or 13, I guess I would win and you would eat it. But then if they won 6, yeah, they won 16, 17, or 18 around that range, then okay, the math makes enough sense. Okay, I double check there. All right, so yeah, keep tuning in
It's on.
for the hot pepper wager. Tune in to our next episode for some player grades and once again the second half of the post All-Star break, predictions and thoughts, and yeah, we'll have some more fun. I have some special episodes. I'm not going to spoil anything yet, but I have some special basketball related, but not necessarily Wizards recap episodes planned for the future, so stay tuned for that. And like we've been saying, just like the Wizards are rebuilding and getting better every game, hopefully, we're gonna keep getting better every episode. We appreciate you. A lot of traffic recently on the YouTube channel. We appreciate that for all the new people tuning in, and then also keep tuning in on Spotify. I've been a little lazy with it. I'm gonna throw it soon onto like Amazon Music and Apple Podcasts soon, so be on the lookout for that. Keep up with the TikTok socials, and I think I plugged everything, right?
At Bullets to Wizards everywhere.
At Bullets to Wizards everywhere. At Dank Mac and Cheese. You want to see me on Twitter. Though I don't really tweet about basketball that much. I kind of tweet about my own life. But if you want to see that, I sometimes
If you're
tweet about
interested in his life, go ahead.
Yeah. I sometimes tweet about basketball. So yeah. So thank you again for listening. Anything
And
else
keep hitting those DC threes.
Yeah. Keep on hitting them. Love y'all. Swish.
Love y'all.